They're pouring something on you. It's in you. And
It's delicious.
Is it alcohol?
Glowing lights on a dashboard emerge out of nothingness.
Where am I?
In the upholstered cabin of Lieutenant Kitsuragi's motor carriage, seated in the driver's basket, the air is thick with leatherworks and heavy fuel oil. Cold water runs down your chin.
Drink. Water.
The water is cold, silvery, the stuff of life itself, as it pours down your parched throat. The pounding in your head recedes. The darkness parts.
Drink. You haven't drunk water in 2 days. Did you know the human body is not made to survive on alcohol alone? You need a secondary form of hydration.
Exactly. You don't survive 2 days on alcohol. You survive 2 days on soda. That's what you're supposed to do. It has water in it.
With greedy gulps, you down half a liter of cold water. Some of it spills on the driver's seat. The lieutenant pays no heed to it.
What happened?
I should ask you the
You
same.
were reading your paperwork. Then you passed out. I carried you to my kinema to take you to a hospital. Then you came to.
How long was I out?
10 minutes, maybe.
Fuck it.
Good.
Hands you the waterlogged remains of
You
your
dropped
ledger.
these. Are you okay to proceed? Good.
Yes, you can boop Bella in your mind if you want. Yes. They'll put you up to 3 spins, Lynn, and then X 100.
The Ledger of Failure and Hatred is a special item that can be used both as an interactable and a tool equipped in your held slot for skill bonuses. Find it under the Tools tab in your inventory.
Wait, what? Okay. That tools inhaled empire empathy -2 to authority. I like having authority. Oh, I had a skill point, didn't I? Question is, what do I want to do this time? Do I want to just max that out? Or maybe I just want to work on building up the lowest skill. I don't know. Oh, screw it. Let's just max that out. Okay, maybe I can...
All around you, rain falls on the great city of Rivershore. Rain drips from the eaves and floods the gutters, washing the filth away. The spring thaw must be here. The snow is melting. Looking up at the sky, cold water dripping from your hair. Grey sky like great battleships, clouds colliding with one another. Rain falls down on the world.
How does it feel?
Your shirt sticks to your chest. The shoulders of your disco blazer grow heavy. The cold finds its way in under your skin. You shiver, and the city shivers with you.
This rain will not let up anytime soon. You should get a raincoat. There's a freight to the east. They sell them there.
Yeah, but I need money to continue staying in the hostel. Let's see if I can get the body.
There he still is, looking
Okay.
right through you with his white eyes. The body below is entirely dedicated to that
I need
corpse smell. Emitting it is all.
I need endurance. Physical instrument, electrochemistry. Yeah, I don't have anything that gives endurance. I have a feeling I'm gonna fail.
There he still is, looking right through you with his white eyes. The body below is entirely dedicated. The smell is repulsive. It pushes in from your mouth, more instant and more familiar than anything you'd expected. More fever than odor. It fills your mind, flushing you from within.
Try and walk away. Gross.
Too late. It's impossible to keep in. Your body curls and pushes it out, burst by burst, until a pool of vomit lies under your feet, and your throat stings from the stomach acid.
Fucking
Keep it.
corpse. Lieutenant hands you a blue checkered.
The hangover is clearly making this worse for you. You could use some ammonia to clear your head. There's the fruit nearby. Maybe they have some in their apothecary. If they don't... There's a greenhouse here, and a gardener with a wheelbarrow on the corner of the whirling in rags. If she works here, she might have something for the smell.
Acquiring ammonia will provide a modifier to the white check. Modifiers make checks easier and allow you to retry them.
Okay. Okay, where do I find the... Well, there's the greenhouse. How do I get to the greenhouse?
There are several footprints in the mud, left by work boots. Anywhere from 6 to 12 pairs have walked here.
Okay, so I need to get visual calculus. Gardener?
An old call box with a matrix of push buttons lists all the companies in the East Delta Commerce Center.
Nope. Maybe if I go up and around. What's that? Oh, never mind. That's... Okay. Only surveys the area in different... Okay. Wait, is that a trail of blood? Oh, what's that?
This is a wall on the side of an apartment building.
Why am I looking at this wall?
You have no clue. It's
Of course
just
I
a
failed.
wall. So many walls all over Martinaise, weather-worn, cracked, their paint peeling.
Yeah, I guess I needed conceptualizations. Take. Bring garden hose, this won't be used
Hey,
to
what's that noise down there?
balcony with a view to the yard and the hanging. Chairs and tables eaten by rain and rot. Now there's splattering of bullet holes on the wall. Just closed door, but you look at it suspiciously. Take off. Reaction speed. Oh, hat. I got a hat. Rhetoric. Eh. I wonder why it's orange. Smoker up there could be a witness. Talk to him. Fine.
There must be another way into the building.
Why the hell was that so loud?
I can't get involved in this.
You see a young man on a balcony nursing a cigarette. His eyes have been following you for a while.
Not looking for any trouble, officer.
I have no idea why the hell that was so loud.
I don't want to be seen talking to the gendarmerie if that's okay. I just want to finish my cigarette.
It's the god of cigarettes and youth. Ask him if he's got anything to spare.
Apologies, but this is my last one.
The god himself has denied you absolution.
Absolution? I don't know that brand, but I'm pretty sure you can get Astras at the Frit. I'm not sure that's a good idea. As you wish. Is it really that important?
Like a nervous cat, he keeps stealing looks at the neighboring window.
All right, but make it quick. Once I finish this cigarette, I have to run. I'd even go so far as to say that the view is a little too good, my dear gendarme. Do you have an estimate of when the body will be taken away?
We will remove the body as soon as possible. Now tell us, where were you last Sunday?
Oh. You already asked me that, didn't you? No, not you two. Some more muscular type.
And when did you speak to this more muscular gentleman?
Last week? I don't know. Look.
Looks around the courtyard again, rain patters on the windowsills and dead house plants. Too late to do them any
You
good.
didn't answer the question. What were you doing last Sunday?
I had a friend over. It was my Sunday friend.
A Sunday friend. How intriguing.
What kind of religion are you studying?
Makes sense. Friends are nice on Sunday. You don't have to work. You can just spend time with pals, watching rugby and drinking beer.
What's your friend's name?
He doesn't reply, gesturing no with his cigarette. Under the grey sky, the neighboring windows are streaked with rain. Someone hides behind a curtain. Those windows have eyes, and those eyes are watching, spying on you three.
Can you tell me your name?
My name? My name is Martin Martinez.
Martin Martinez? Good local name. Let's go with that.
All right.
No. We won't. Now, if you'll excuse me, I really need to get going.
Time to bring out your secret charm. Tears and begging. Show him your emotional side. Throw yourself before his very feet like a dog.
Wow, okay. Yeah. Let's go to the humiliation train.
Trash?
Please don't go. I'll even stop smoking inside.
Listen, I really have to go.
Ah, there it goes. Wasted. You would have gotten at least a few good drags out of it.
Good luck with the investigation.
Huh? That was weird.
He's gone.
Lieutenant puts away his notebook and turns to you.
No point in running. Tenements like these often have multiple exits. If he doesn't want to talk to us, then he'll know how to hide himself. He could be a witness. Him or his Sunday friend. Either way, we need to look into that muscular type who's asking about our case. There has to be a way of getting inside the building. Once we've found a way in, we can ask around for his apartment.
I can't click on that.
Are you trying to sneak up on me? Come to slit my throat in my sleep?
Yeah,
Pick's
totally.
come to take me out. Trying to snuff me out. Don't get fucking clever with me, pig. You think you're so clever. Trying to sneak up on me again?
Fine, whatever. It is one weird game. Take alt. Inside frame motorcycle in repair and tools used to disassemble it.
Hey, up here, Piggo. The streets will flow red once more. A great torrent rushing down Rue de Esperance. You wait and see.
The streets will not flow red with anything. Who are you?
I'm Cindy the fucking Skull. What else do you want to know? Date of birth, blood type, the last time I was tested for Hep C.
Let's start with your blood type.
Go where? Accosting a minor?
Listen to your partner, pigman. Keep your grubby hooves off little old ladies.
Despite the attitude, she puts the brush aside.
The lieutenant furrows his brow at another one of your eccentricisms. Hatred, disgust. It's difficult to tell which of the two is more present in her girlish features.
Can it be all?
The woman on the boat does not notice her staring.
That is on her. Someone's got to keep an eye on her.
Who is she?
Probably the Wild Pines rep. We should talk to her. She's a professional negotiator, though. I have the feeling she will be very cooperative while telling us nothing. You should take the lead. Ask her unexpected questions, you know? Do your thing. Don't be afraid to get a bit wacky. Throwing her off is our best bet.
Good idea, piggies. Run along now. Fuck her shit up good.
What are you
Impound
doing?
that boat while you're at it. I'd like to watch her swim back to us on.
What are you doing to
Can't
that wall?
you tell? I'm painting a beautiful mural, an aereo graffitio visible from low orbit.
Yeah, I doubt that's possible.
I haven't really started it yet. I'm waiting for the right words.
Why are you committed to basing the building?
This place is severely lacking in havoc. Not even the occasional trash can fire to break up the tedium. I thought I'd mix it up, you know. Summon the forces of crime and social chaos with
So
a
you don't-
wall-sized invitation.
So you don't know what to
Have you
write.
ever tried your hand at graffitio? When faced with a blank wall, most people write unimaginative stuff, like pigs go home and Mona was here. We rarely see pigs round here, though. Just union cats. And my name's not Mona, so...
She wants it to be something true and total.
I have an opinion.
Yeah?
I love public art. Don't mind us. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm gonna have to stop you. This is hooliganism.
Thanks. I'm sure the inspiration will come to me now that I have an opinion.
You've lessened her desire to deface the building.
Do you know anything about the recent murders?
I ain't no snitch, pigstein. Go forth and forage in someone else's shit. No shortage of squealers in these parts.
Actually, I don't think pigs really do that. They're usually more clean than anything. If you're going about digging in shit, that would be dung beetles.
Actually, there is a shortage of people who talk to us in a normal, calm, informative manner.
We weren't put on this earth to make your life pleasant, fucko. Watch your back, ungulate. You've...
Can I go in there?
A sturdy metal door guards the southwest entrance to the apartment. This could be a way into the apartment building the smoking man vanished into. The door rattles against your knuckles, but there's no response.
Okay, yeah.
The door rattles again, but this time you hear an elderly woman's voice calling out from inside.
Stop banging on the door! I'm not letting any more strangers inside. Doesn't matter who I am. Now go on, get out of here. Ha! The police? Everyone knows the police don't come round here.
Always echo with her cackle.
No, I already told you. I won't be responsible for any more strangers getting into the building.
So you already let strangers into the building.
Go check the backyard door. Maybe someone there will.
Backyard door. With the smoker. You already were there. Didn't work.
Good. We had enough problems with bums and drunks and thieves loitering in the hallway. You have no business here.
You're well versed in the kind of threatening legalese that implies criminal liability, but in fact has no meaning whatsoever.
I know my rights, and don't you marm me, boy.
Miss, would it help if we offer to show you our badges?
Hold your horses.
You hear a click of the night latch before a lady on the other side gets caught in
I
a
don't
coughing.
care about your stinking badge. Just come in.
Nice. Okay, what's that? Construction decades ago. What are you? Take alt. I'm pretty sure it's perfectly safe to pick up random bottles of pills on the side of the street and consume them for your own personal, safety and things and stuff. Docking reserved for residents. Room in the whirling isn't much bigger than this sloop. Shadows on the water, green plants under the calm surface.
A striking woman leans against the cabin top of her sailing boat, smiling as you approach. Her green raincoat glistens with droplets. A silk scarf is tied around her throat.
Good afternoon, officers. I'm Joyce. Joyce L. Messier. I represent the board of Wild Pines, the owners of the harbor. You gentlemen must be from the RCM.
She steps closer, holds out her hand over the railing. What does the L stand for?
Peyton, my maiden name.
Her bony hand dangles from the sleeve of her oversized raincoat. RCM, what is that? I'm a little foggy here.
I meant you. The Revachol Citizens Militia. The police.
What gave us away?
Nothing, honestly. I've said it to every drunk in town, and you're the first one who's responded.
What is implied here? That you're a drunk?
Yeah, I take exception to that. I'm not drunk. We'll tell that to the time. I'm not drunk.
Of course you're not. It was only a joke.
Shake her hand.
I'm glad to see you here.
Her grip is tight and cold. She seems
I was
relieved.
dispatched to handle a strike, not a lynching. Anything I can do to assist the RCM in this matter, I will. Gladly.
That is good to hear, madame. My colleague will take the lead on this interview. I should let you know that he is recovering from an unusual medical episode. Very unusual. But I can assure you of his ultimate competency.
How long did you have to build yourself up to believe that what you're even saying yourself?
How interesting. I wish you a swift recovery. In the meanwhile, you have my full cooperation, and the full cooperation of the Wild Pines group.
Oh, Wild Pines?
It's hard to get a read on her precise disposition, but she appears helpful.
You're on a boat.
Why, yes I am.
She looks at the deck under her feet. Green and white sails flutter overhead. Not a lot of people on boats, are there?
There are. We're on an archipelago. How else are you supposed to get around?
On foot.
Yes, we are. We are on Le Caillou.
So we're on top of a bald, spoiled brat toddler? Is that it?
We are. And the city of Revachol is on the island of Le
Oh, I
Caillou.
already did that. Still, I haven't seen anyone else sail a boat around
I
here.
haven't seen anyone else drive a souped-up Capri Kenema motor carriage either.
Actually, that motor carriage has been specially issued to serve as a patrol and pursuit vehicle. It's for crossing long distances in the greater Revachol industrial harbor. It's not a toy.
Neither is this. A toy, I mean. It's a machine for crossing.
She's having a good time arguing against the law. Too good, perhaps.
Does she have a name?
The boat? No. It is called Cordelati 19 because that's the type of sloop it is.
What's a
The
sloop?
word "it" feels strange. Such a beautiful boat deserves a proper name. A breeze ripples through the sails and tugs at your hair. Below, the sleek, fish-like shape of the hull parts the water. Beneath that, a resounding darkness. You're reminded of something. Or someone.
Yeah, it needs a name. You should name it Bodie McBoatface.
Okay. How about Cordelati 19? Why? Because it was manufactured in Revachol East by a company called Cordelati, and its hull is 19 paces long.
How about Dolores?
Why Dolores?
I don't know, it feels pretty.
Well, it means nothing to me. I think I'll stick with the factory name. But thank you for the suggestion.
Cool, but your boat
Okay.
release.
How about because it was manufactured in Revachol East by a company called Cordelati? And
How about
the
X something?
Something. The X what?
Just X
Very
something.
absurd. Thank you for the suggestion. I will stick with the fact. Okay. Because it was manufactured.
I'm just gonna go
the
through all of them.
X Something.
The
Thank you
ex-wife?
for the suggestion. Okay. Because it was manufactured. The X. Oh, I do like the sound of that. It sounds so decisive. So powerful. It's a pleasure craft. A 19 pacer. It also happens to be rated for Category 1 racing. Though these days I mainly use it for business.
How do you
My
like it?
sloop? I like it a lot. It's the eel's hips, baby.
The eel's hips? Eels don't have hips. They're like just noodles. Does a noodle have a hip? I mean, can you really say it has a hip? Or would it just all be hip? Because, I mean, they have a head, they have a butt. So would the rest of it just be hip?
I'm enjoying this part of the interview. It has so little to do with the murder we're investigating.
I really do, the lieutenant thinks. Is she thrown off yet? He's looking at the woman, assessing her.
You have a license for this boat?
Officer, I assure you I'm a highly qualified pleasure craft operator.
Can you show me your dinghy? I want to see your dinghy.
The crowns of her teeth are porcelain, white as the boat's hull as she smiles.
Every boat needs one. You never know if they'll crash.
Qualified pleasure craft operator. So charming. Where's the damn license?
I just renewed its safety inspection last month, officers. It is completely seaworthy. In fact, it's taken part in not one, but two insulindic regattas. Even finished once.
What happened the other
The
time?
other time, I would have finished the race were it not for an urgent work matter, much like the one I'm on now.
Still need to see a
Actually,
license.
you don't.
Pretty sure I do, police.
It is a little known fact among those who police that the Wayfarer Act specifically denies the RCM the authority to demand anyone's operator license.
Exactly how little known is this fact. So he can't pull over random civilians and demand their papers? That's weak. Makes sense, I guess. I mean, look at me. Okay, forget the stupid Wayfarer Act. I had another question.
No need to resort to self-pity, detective. You can still ask for her passport.
You need to save face if you want her respect. Demand that passport.
Yes.
Of course.
The woman is silent, smiling while the waves lap against the hull. In your hand, under the plastic, a light blue passport saying, Republic of Vespa. The coat of arms has a lion and an ostrich. Seagent. The woman, born in the year 3 in the commune of Revachol, smiles at you. Face adorned with frown lines and crow's feet. The photo is recent. The name reads, Rejoice Leighton Messier.
Okay, so...
Yes. But please don't call me that.
Why?
Joyce is much more efficient.
She doesn't like it. Probably a bad memory. Mean girls at school or some ancient lover.
Or maybe it was just, she didn't like her parents?
My husband is. I have dual citizenship. A Vespertine is handier when traveling.
She nods and returns the plastic bag to her coat.
Good.
Tell me about the Wild Pines. What do you do?
What we do. I'm afraid I don't speak for Wild Pines as a whole. It's a giant undertaking.
So what do they
The
do?
Pines' core competency is logistics. Container shipping, freight, that sort of thing. See those airships there, blinking? Those are the shipping side of things. And that is the terminal. Another subdivision deals with energy, oil and gas exploration, offshore platforms.
How much money does Wild Pines have?
I'm not at liberty to discuss the company balance sheet, but I can tell you that last year, the company booked more than 20 billion real in revenue.
A billion?
What exactly is
It's
a
a
billion?
number, officer. A big one.
What is it made of?
It's made of 1,000 millions. A million is made of 1,000 thousands.
Money I owe is so much less than that.
Yes, past a certain point, numbers begin to seem imaginary. but they are quite real for the 72,000 employees who depend on Wild Pines for their paycheck. A conglomerate the size of Wild Pines is like a shark. If it stops moving and growing, it will die. Then what becomes of those 72,000 families? It is a tremendous responsibility.
Where do the Wild Pines get all these
They
billions?
started as an exploration and cargo fleet conducting trade between the Samaran and Insulindian Isolas 250 years ago, when Pine ships explored the South Seminese and charted Lormantang on behalf of the suzerain. Centuries of care, deliberation, and madness have gone into this endeavor. Vessels pass through the Great Unrest to re-emerge with apricots in tow. The logic of the system is totalizing. It's taken everything from its employees to build it.
I think I've had apricot. Yeah, I have. I've had canned apricot. That stuff's good. Especially the juice. Or the syrup that it's packed in. What is such a huge system with a place
You mean
like this?
aside from being the terminal's legal owners, who are responsible for moving 8% of the world's cargo?
8% of all the cargo in the world? That's quite an endeavor indeed.
There are no minor cogs in the system. Each terminal must be accounted for, lest the entire system break. Every hiccup in such a system means thousands lose their jobs, the world over. I'm here to assure that doesn't happen.
With your help, hopefully, says her warm tone.
What can you tell me about this strike?
Everything. Right up to, but not including, trade secrets.
Wait, what if I want to hear trade
First,
secrets?
you'd have to repeal the Emergencies Act of Trade in Aliments. That gives me the right to silence. It's quite the octopus.
An octopus? I will slay it! Wouldn't want to disturb an octopus, better let it be.
Why? By throwing off half a century of foreign domination under the Coalition. Unfortunately for you, the Coalition also leases you the right to police West Revachol. But I am derailing us. You wanted to know about the strike.
What is your role in this?
I believe the official title is Senior Labor Negotiator. In practice, I'm a grocery clerk. I relay the union's demands to Wild Pines and return with Wild Pines' counteroffer.
And how are the talks going?
They're not. That's the problem. The union stopped all negotiations a week ago, after that awful lynching took place. Now they won't even let me into the harbour. There's a 2-meter-20 racist behemoth blocking the gates.
I mean Jean-Luc, my race mentor. He's a great teacher, a man of virtue.
Oh, so you've met him. Has he beguiled you with his inane theories?
My colleague has his peculiarities. Let's not go into this particular one just yet.
Of course. To each their own.
How's it going before the
Let's
lynching?
say I was not making the kind of progress I'd hoped for when I first arrived.
And when did you first arrive?
I arrived 3 weeks ago. Yes, in the middle of February. The bay was still partially frozen then. I prefer to do these things on site, like the RCM.
But the strike began in December.
I wasn't the original negotiator here. I took over after Mr. Gaumont hit a wall with Mr. Clare, the union boss. Mr. Clare refused to speak with Gaumont despite concessions he'd granted the union in prior negotiations.
This isn't the first time the union has gone on strike.
Heavens no. There have been 2 prior strikes. Both times the union won significant concessions, including overtime pay and a medical plan. This time their demands are more, I guess you could say, aggressive.
What happened to this Garmont?
Mr. Clare told him to... how did he put it? Fuck off, midget. Gaumont is short of stature, you see.
Well, gotta hand it to him. He can't reach it. Okay, then.
Yes. Keep in mind, this is a negotiator Mr. Clare has worked with before, and who was more than fair with him and the union.
Sounds like usual aggressive posturing.
What are their demands?
There are leaflets everywhere, and banners. What did they say again? Oh yes, every worker, a member of the board.
I
Then
like
you
it.
might also like their other slogan, Demand Democracy.
Oh yeah, that's a
Personally,
good
I
one.
don't think it has the same pizzazzo as every worker a member of the board.
What exactly do they mean by it, though? What's the
It's
demand?
quite simple, you see. Every time the Wild Pines group makes a decision about what, about anything really, it needs the signature of each of the 2,200 workers in its Martinez terminal.
Seems reasonable.
Just so you understand, this is but one of 22 terminals owned by Wild Pines. Essentially, not only are they kings of the company, they are also kings of the 72,000 employees of Wild Pines Group.
Workers can't be kings. King is king. King is dead. Long live the workers. That's pretty funny.
They're having a blast. But how can they afford it? After 4 months, my assumption was they would prefer a more practical solution.
Well, what are you
I'm
gonna
not
do?
sure. Naturally, I assume that was just their opening position. A hard-nosed tactic with a side of mockery. But there's been no follow-up, just the same nonsensical slogan repeated over and over again. And now, people are getting lynched, I hear. Behind the whirling in rags. A disastrous situation if there ever was one.
Excuse me, from whom did you hear about this lynching?
I first heard it from the boyer at the gates. The one whose very name advertises his aversion to work. I think he said it was, "Call me mañana."
This checks out.
The scabs at the gate. Did you put them there?
The scabs? You mean the huddled masses of Jamrock, come to plead for work where the Union refuses to? If they were organized by Wild Pines or its affiliates, then it would be a company secret. I could not share it with you. Not right now, at least.
Tell me about the union boss, Mr. Clare.
Everard Clare is a man of the utmost integrity. If you can say one thing about him, it's that he always puts the interests of the workers first.
Really?
Of course not. Everard is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he has a thick, viscous goo where you and I have blood.
I like thick, viscous goo. It lasts longer.
If you were to prick it with something sharp, you could see it oozing out. A knife, maybe? No, a rapier.
Oh, heavens no. We get along just fine. Yet, now that you mention it, I can't stop imagining that black treacle just dribbling down his double chin.
I think they call it coffee. Is he that bad?
He is the most corrupt individual I have ever seen, and I deal with men like him for a living. If there is anyone more venal, more irredeemably nepotistic, then it's his twin brother, Edgar.
Wait, there are two of him?
Yes, Edgar looks exactly like his brother, except for that lazy eye. He also talks exactly like Everard does, and when one's term as foreman is up, the other takes over.
They just trade back and forth, so that way it never loses. Okay.
It's how they circumvent the term limits, you see, with a funny little switcheroo. While in office, they've embezzled God knows how much of their workers' dues.
What about the union itself outside the brothers Clare?
The Débardeurs Union was once a perfectly normal institution. 20 years ago, anyway. It must not have been easy to establish under the Emergency Act, but they did it. I can respect that.
Oh, they did something.
Organized labor at its best, as they say. Then something happened in the local chapter elections. The brothers Clare came and transformed it into a... how do you say?
A mob. The Débardeurs are a crime syndicate. Sad as it may be, I suspect we'll be forced to cooperate with them.
Refreshingly honest, officer. The company has tried appeasing in the past, but I'm afraid our concessions have only emboldened Everard and his brother. And your opinion, detective, if I may ask? I'm a curious and talkative person, you see. Would you say the Debardeurs Union is...
Yeah, I'm not gonna have an opinion.
Of course, officer.
One more thing. You said something happened in the elections.
I'm glad you asked. There was a woman, the previous forewoman of the Union. She disappeared.
Disappeared?
Yes. On the last day of the local chapter elections, her daughter phoned in and said she wasn't running anymore. Or coming to work. Ever. End of story.
Eerie.
Downright haunting, if you ask me. The Wild Pines suspected foul play, but what could they do? It was a Union matter. The point of the presentation is, these kinds of things happen around the Clares. Watch out when you're dealing with him.
Thank you for your concern, ma'am. We'll be just fine.
Of
Change
course.
topic.
How else can I help?
What can you tell me about the lynching?
Quite a few things, I'm afraid.
She falls silent for a moment, contemplating
The
something.
information I'm to share with you includes sensitive trade secrets. For the sake of my employer, I have to ask for your names and badge numbers.
Of course, ma'am. We should have introduced ourselves. I am Lieutenant Kitsuragi, from Precinct 57. And this is my colleague from Precinct 41. I'm afraid he doesn't have his badge at the moment. I hope mine will suffice.
How curious. Why is that, Detective?
Awkwardness washes over the conversation. The woman doesn't like this turn of events.
Remember when my partner told you I'd recently suffered an unusual medical episode? My lost badge is related to it.
I see. So, are you saying you lost your badge during the course of this episode?
I could have eaten it for all I know. I don't remember anything. This world, this city, nothing.
Oh dear. I suppose this does explain some of the more curious turns in our conversation.
As I said, ma'am, his technique may be very unconventional, but he is an officer of the RCM.
At least that's what I'm told.
Of course, I sympathize. But I'm afraid I simply can't share anything more until I've seen that badge.
Hang on. She's a professional negotiator. She should be open to some sort of mutually beneficial arrangement. Feelings will guide the way.
I need to know about this lynching. It's very important to me. It's the case I'm
assure
solving.
you, it is no small matter for me either. We all share the responsibility for disarming this situation. I hope you have a badge for me as soon as possible.
She's silent. The wind flaps the sail above her.
This boat, for example, and a home somewhere. I only have this case.
Officer.
I don't remember anything except the lynching. There is only this coast and this lynching. This case is what I'll be known by.
You know, I don't mean to sound cold, but if you want something, you have to give something back. More than just guilt.
You're doing it. Despite your own best efforts, you're still getting in. Somehow.
I'll be frank with you. If I'm going to break protocol, I need to be able to justify it to my superiors. They're going to want to see something tangible. The Union is conducting drug trade out of the harbor. It's an open secret in Martinez. Surely it must not come as a complete surprise to the RCM either. Perhaps it's time to look into it. Or you can find your badge, which honestly seems like a lost cause.
Detective, a word in private before we continue.
Here's this moment.
Hobocop.
Yay.
Technically, you wouldn't be a cop anymore, but a hobo. That would mean game over for the cop chapter of your adventures. But who knows where the hobo part takes you? To the bar? The old L'Assommoir? To the pier or the sewers? To Le Royaume, where for 300 years they interred the dead. You could plunder royalist crypts for long-forgotten triple malt bourbon. Then fight the Ardamakan beast that lurks the bottommost sepulchres. The secrets of the city are all yours at last.
Reveals extra special collector's edition tear bottles on the map. More money for selling tear. Learning cap for shivers raised to 6. Okay, what else can I internalize? Research time 5 hours. Temporary research bonus none. You know what? Why not?
This is not going quite as I hoped it would, Detective.
How'd you hope it
Honestly,
would go?
I was expecting you to use your unorthodox technique to keep her off balance, and not volunteer us to be her henchman.
I thought it was going so well.
This woman is running circles around us. She might have known about your misplaced badge all along, or she's simply an adept improviser. Either way, we've played straight into her hands.
He doesn't let it show, but there is a limit to how much the consequences of your unprofessional behavior can cost the investigation.
We could just, find my badge.
Oh, that would be fantastic, but do we have the time? The world is large and your badge is 8 by 6 centimeters. You could request a new one from your station, but that would literally take months. I'm sure you will, Detective.
What do we propose? We don't investigate drug trafficking?
If there is reasonable suspicion, we must investigate. Otherwise, she could claim we are siding with the Union, or that we are on their take. We'd never hit. What I propose is, we ask her, then we investigate, briefly. But do not share the outcome of this investigation with her. We tell her it's done, and demand for her information on the lynching.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? This reality. Ah, yes. The episode. Sounds like an acute case of encephalopathy, now that I think of it.
Stoner Thermal Cup looks at you.
Don't be phased, madame. He functions perfectly well. He only needs a lowdown on all of reality.
We may be here a while then. Ask away, officer. I'll help however I can.
All right, you're in. Begin with the first one. You'll appear worldly.
Very low. Even. Where are we?
We're in Martinez, baby.
Baby.
A casual term of endearment popular among the 50-plus crowd. It's a disco holdover, pay it no heed. Martinez is a district of Revachol. A very small district tucked away near the industrial harbour, north of the 881 and Jamrock. You would be excused for not knowing about it. Unimportant, they say. Forgotten, even. Shelled to smithereens during the Revolution. It has its charms, just not this time of year.
What about the Martinez?
I'm not a good ambassador. I've only been here once before, as a teenager.
Wait, you were a teenager?
Not a lot has changed.
You're like
There are
so
ruins,
old.
A terminal, fishing boats, reeds, boys with boxy shoulders.
Okay.
This place used to be a province. A workers' resort before the city swallowed it and the artillery did its work. The reeds are the real star of the show here now. The further down the coast, the wilder it gets.
You mentioned a sea. What sea is this?
It's not really a sea, it's the Bay of Revachol. And the bay feeds into the ocean.
Are we near the ocean?
Yes. We're on an island in an ocean. The world's largest body of water. The Insulindic.
Vast, lukewarm and unknowable, flowing in and out of sight.
What's the name of the island?
Caillou, as you already know. Imagine a pebble. A smoothed over pebble amidst a great blue sea. misshapen, cracked. The cracks are the River Esperance. We're in the delta of this river, on the 6th branch, the Martinez distributary.
It is clear this pebble is of enormous value to her.
Okay, tell me about another aspect of reality.
I would be happy to. What is a preposterously expensive education for, if not sharing?
What times are these?
These are unimportant times, Detective. You and I were born after the dust had settled. 1,000th of a second too late.
Too late for what?
For the big time.
The smile of a predator. No doubt what she's got in mind.
Yeah, predatory streak.
All men are predators, dear. Nothing much to be done about that. It's all a matter of where you get to file your teeth.
What's the big time?
The revolution.
And what is this revolution I keep hearing about?
It's quite easy. Every 100 years or so, our species gets together to decide what's next, who gets shot in the head, and who gets the mineral rights. It's a real kerfuffle.
Who got shot in the head?
Those would be the communists. Generally speaking, 40 million people got shot in the head during the World Revolution. But the communists, they all got shot in the head.
She's not gloating. It's a relieved celebration.
Oh, and the anarchists too. They shot them well. So well, one forgets they even existed.
Do the communists and the anarchists shoot back?
Did they ever? Before they got shot themselves, they shot 2 million people.
Sounds like they should have shot more people in the head then.
This does not represent the official RCM opinion.
Don't worry. Klas Mazov shot 15 million people in the head. But that was all the way over in Grad.
No scouts shot in the head on the opposing end?
Oh, lots of people. Even the king got shot in the head, or thrown beneath a horse, or drowned. Accounts differ. It was unceremonious. Just as well, he wasn't actually the king. Just the king's nephew. The real king abdicated and lived out a long and productive life as a venture capitalist in Grad.
Don't care about Smart
Yes.
King?
King Guillaume had a nose for bad PR. He ran before it. What is the expression? Went down? Anyway, Gil got out alive and his nephew Frisell got shot in his place.
Oh.
Him and tens of thousands of his wonderfully fascist kingsmen. It was a wild time.
Who got the mineral rights?
The liberals got the mineral rights. And by mineral rights, I mean everything.
And by liberals, you mean?
Liberals are usually middle-class people, Detective. Or the remaining gentry. The beneficiaries of the pre-revolutionary. Some were rich enough to stay with the Constitution, with monarchy. Big mistake. Others bet on the revolution. They were called the ultras, or ultra-liberals. They fared well.
How the liberals win it
They
all?
didn't win so much as survive. We were the last ones standing when the war ended. Everyone else got shot in the head, remember?
If everyone got shot, who was there to surrender
The
to?
foreign intervention. The coalition. Those people really took the mineral rights.
Wait, you just said the liberals already took everything.
The liberals took everything that wasn't nailed to the ground. The coalition took the ground. The ocean, the laws, and the people.
Well, to be fair, if you take the nails out, it's no longer nailed to the ground. Who are the coalition?
The coalition of nations. Grad, Mesk, Vesper, Messina, Oranje, and Sur-la-Clay. The armed center of the world. They landed here and ended the revolution. It was the moralist thing to do.
There is bitterness in her voice, tempered with understanding. She is critical, but ultimately understands the cause.
Moralist?
The moralists believe in keeping everything exactly the way it is. They believe in mineral rights, and not shooting people in the head. At least not in the same manner and volume as the others do. They are the long-standing provisional rulers of Revachol now, the coalition government.
The rulers of Revachol, and also the world. These guys are strong.
This is their zone of control. They embolden the RCM with crumbs of the same law they took. Technically speaking, you are a moralist.
If always picking the option that doesn't commit to anything, then hell yes, I am also not.
An almost endearingly moralist standpoint. It must be hard to take a moderate approach to head shooting in your line of work.
When was this
The
kerfluffle?
turn of the century revolution? Don't answer it. It's a trick question. The revolution began in '02 on the Isla of Grad, though by the end, nearly the whole world had gotten involved.
Who started
It wasn't
it?
a who, but a what. A pandemic of Zarat, a particularly virulent prion disease, which the authorities in Grad proved unable to contain. Then Marzolf came along and overthrew the government.
And what did this thing do?
It made people overthrow their governments.
No way.
Indeed. Zarat is a highly infectious microorganism that destroyed brain tissue. The actual causes of the revolution were material. The pandemic only provided the spark.
Where it spread from there?
Revachol and Grad? Not far. The world managed to cauterize itself. Marzolf's government was overthrown in '08, and the coalition crushed the Revachol commune 2 years later. It was the end.
What came next?
Why? You and I, officer. Our lives in the zone of control.
Something tells you her life and yours are not that similar.
Our lives are not the
No
same.
doubt. But we share the same time and position on the planet's crust. That counts for more than you think.
Crust. I want my crust stuffed with cheese and hot dogs. Also attached to pizza. A deep dish pizza with like all the meats and vegetables and extra cheese and extra cheese and extra cheese. All the cheese. I don't want to poop for the next century. There, I said it. What is the zone control?
A city-state divided into free market zones under the everlasting interregnum of the Coalition of Nations. And you, of course, the citizens' militia.
The clatter of typewriter keys fills the main hall of the reappropriated silk mill. Precinct 41. Chad Tilbrook presses enter. Outside, Officer Elfboy Williams slams the door of an armored motor carriage.
The zone of control is the third incarnation of Revachol, after the failure of the suzerain and the commune.
What happened in the rest of the world?
Modernity. They developed the marvels of the inter-easlary communication. Telematic milieus, radiation, colored plastics. Meanwhile, in Revachol West, the aftermath continues for the 5th decade.
What's it been like? It's been like this for how long exactly?
43 years. Hard to fathom, I know.
What have we been doing all this time?
The 20s saw a decade of urban war, west of the river leveled, offshore platforms in flames. Still, it's regarded as an improvement on what came before. '08 to '19 was simply hell.
And after that?
The 30s? Things settled down in the 30s. Revachol East transformed itself into the world's largest tax haven, with the international community's blessing. For the first time in a long time, it seemed like things were going somewhere.
Were they?
No. It was a market mirage fueled by cocaine and quantitative easing. The 40s dispelled it like a cold splash, an Isla-wide hangover, you might say. And here we are.
She curtsies.
Welcome to reality, baby.
New skill point, nice.
From the looks of it, the 50s haven't been much better for the zone of control. You can see it in her eyes. Days slipping away.
You don't seem to be thrilled.
I've no right to be dissatisfied. This shirt is Barbara Muscova. This raincoat is impervious to rain and is guaranteed for 100 years. My daughters will wear it. No, it's just...
She looks at the crumbling tenements, paint flecking on the
We could
stone.
have had so much more. Every one of us. If only we played it right.
What we've done differently.
Good question. What would you have done differently?
No, her first.
Medical?
A cold creeps up your spine, reaching its tendrils up your neck, toward the back of your head.
So a quarter of humanity simply lost their minds. And how would you stop a prion? A complex folding protein, unlife, with a technology 50 years ago.
With some hygiene, modest social care, and perhaps a little research program, liquidate the rabid, prion-infested dogs who want to kill everyone with cleansing artillery fire. With privatized healthcare and work ethic that does not turn your brain into spongy tissue. Let's start with the hygiene.
Stops, and for a moment, there's silence. The charge dissipates into the dark water. All is quiet on the Martinez inlet.
There is peace in the heart.
Good hygiene. Really. A very moderate solution to an extreme problem. It's those sort of half measures that doomed the authorities in Grad. When they failed to step up, Marzov and his party stepped in. In this particular case, maybe a more robust state response might have been appropriate.
Opinions expressed here do not reflect the official position of the RCM.
And what is your official position, Lieutenant?
My position, ma'am? My parents got ripped to shreds in the revolution. I would have gone the same way. I was saved by being 2 years old. That's my position. The abattoir.
Understandable.
Enough about the hard times.
What they are. Who knows? Anyway, enough sentimentality. Is there
Conclude
anything
for
else
now.
you want to know? Glad to have been of assistance. The little that I know. And of course, Detective.
And that's where we're gonna call it. So, save game. Save.
You're
I
back.
keep talking to you.
Good. What can I help you with? More lessons in basic reality? My favorite part of the day. Go ahead, ask me anything. It's a neurological disorder caused by a lack of vitamin B in the brain. Symptoms include a retrograde amnesia. It's quite serious. You should get yourself checked out.
She conveys it in short, cold bursts, trying not to invest too deeply in the condition of this doomed detective.
Well, it's either bariatric surgery or long-term alcohol use.
That's definitely
She
the
nods
drinking.
slowly. What this boils down to is, this reality thing is stupid. Blow this joint, grab a bottle, and drain that shit right down your throat. Wait. This reality thing is the only game in town. It's probably in your interest not to blow it. She stares at you, head tilted to the side, with a slightly concerned look on her face. Six kilometers southwest, in the Valley of Dogs, Junior Officer Chad Tilbrook takes aim at a rabid black dog licking its wounds in the grass. To his left, his partner, Emil Mullins, whispers, "You heard what happened to Tequila Sunset? In Martinez? Yes, he lost his mind. Tilbrook answers, fingers on the trigger. Don't worry, ML. He pulls it out slowly. Slowly now. He'll find it again. We always do.
You? You're an officer of the RCM. It stands for Revachol Citizens Militia. Nothing more nor less than the de facto law enforcement body of post-revolutionary Revachol, Detective.
Yes, we are the Revachol Citizens Militia.
Yes, that means not de jure. The RCM acts in what is poetically called the twilight of international law, both at the behest of the coalition government and to its chagrin. The RCM's responsibilities are defined by the Emergency, Wayfarer and Aliments Acts, 3 pieces of legislation keeping the city in a, let's be honest, laissez-faire stasis to the benefit of foreign capital.
All 3 are good to know when we are out policing.
So basically one of the good
There's
guys?
nothing basic about your role, Detective. It's true that the RCM keeps everything the way our seemingly permanent provisional rulers like it. Yet, on the other hand, I know these people. I deal with them daily. Let me tell you, dear, they are not fans of you. The post-revolutionary decade was a disaster for the coalition government. Revachol in the 20s was hell, especially on the west side of the river. Gang warfare, a botched privatization scheme, a nuclear pile meltdown. They called it the international zone because no nation wanted to claim responsibility. The RCM restored peace where the coalition failed. A true blue citizens' initiative. They will never forgive you.
That's somewhat of an exaggeration. In reality, ours is a mutually beneficial arrangement. Revacholians get to keep the peace in Revachol, and the coalition doesn't have to worry about it. Anyway, sorry to intrude. Please continue.
Yes, Lieutenant. Permit me to conclude with this. Who you are, to me, is the police. The only legitimate law enforcement authority in Revachol. And if those authorities drink so hard they need... It's a neurological disorder.
She conveys it in short, cold bursts.
Be my guest.
I want to know what you are.
She won't maneuver her way out of this one.
I am the vilest of the vile. A traitor. A devourer of nations and infants.
You eat babies?
I am an ultra.
It's sharp.
An ultra-liberal. It's a type of liberal. From the revolution. It's, not the moderate kind. Haven't you heard? I am a nether creature of the Forbidden Swamp. One of those who pushed the king under a shit wagon and betrayed the revolution. I can see you thought I'd gone extinct. No sane person identifies as an ultra-liberal anymore. Not in broad daylight. You're a centrist at heart. A real moralist. Tell me, now that I've uncoiled myself, do you find me frightening?
In her green eyes you see a mixture of truth and self-satire. Decades of guilt and pride. Forgive her, but only because you like pearlescent teeth and those light green eyes.
I do hope so. I hope we're able to remain collegial despite it. Remember, We were partners, whether you like to admit it or not. There's blood on many hands, I assure you. When the dust settled, the Liberals were the only ones left to clean up the mess. By virtue of their survival, they were handed enormous power to shape the future. With due respect to our overlords, the eternal caretaker government that keeps Martinez a monument to the efficacy of its artillery.
While a gentle wind sweeps the streets in the rebuilt east, light drizzle washing it clean, lights go up and motor carriages circulate the tracks.
I would not have relinquished sovereignty to the Coalition. Not here in Martinez, and not in the Stella Maris or Delta Beachheads either. If not for my own sake, then for my daughters. We had an obligation to defend our sovereignty. We should have burned the whole Isola down rather than let them have it.
Dark orange flames reflect in her green eyes, an oil fire on the ocean.
Perhaps. My intellectual vanity will be my undoing. Yes, I suppose I am. But I wouldn't be a patriot anywhere but here.
Seditious talk, man.
Yes. Whatever else I am, I'm also a mother and a wife. Now, shall we return to reality?
What's this?
A bird? A sphenicid? A flightless bird of the polar regions? Of course you're not, my dear. I'm just terrible at guessing games. Ah! This is the pier of Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33A, where the tenants have been kind enough to rent me a slot. Or two. A pre-revolutionary tenement. Old buildings are called tenements, you see. And new buildings, bâtiments. After les bâtiments nouveaux. But 33A and 33B are not nouveaux. They're old. This one used to be 8 to 10 stories tall. A real high-rise by the standards of the last century. Built to mirror the skyscrapers across the bay in the Delta. That was before the war, of course. Mostly the urban middle class, I believe. This was once primo real estate, before the cannons lopped 4 or 5 stories off.
Splat, splat.
Dilapidated balcony, Cindy the Skull gives Joyce the evil eye, her red paintbrush held to her throat.
Wonderful. The girl in the old lady rags looks like a sullen and rebellious member of a teen infraculture. Yes, you and I belong to the supraculture. We're common, the herd. The music on the radio, the food in the chain restaurant, those are all too popular for the girl in the old lady rag. She prefers a fantasy world, an infraculture with its own dress code and vernacular. It is an illusion, I'm afraid. There is no refuge from the supraculture.
I understand everything. Make it more complicated somehow.
I can't. That's how simple it is. One may dye their hair green and wear their grandma's coat all they want. Capital has the ability to subsume all critiques into itself. Even those who would critique capital end up reinforcing it instead. All right. What next?
Well, I may retry it, so let's just do it.
A strange coldness comes over you as you look.
That's all for
Glad
now.
to have been of assistance. The little
Is what you want to say, but it isn't that easy, is it?
What? Why
Look
not?
at that lady. Take a gander. Squint your eyes, bub.
What nice
Why,
fabrics.
yes. Tucked away under that sturdy green raincoat, almost rustic in its simplicity, a silk shirt and matching scarf around her gentle throat, while dull orange pearls hang from her earlobes, red from the cold. Her light green eyes scan you, full of knowledge and worry. Wealth and all its possibilities.
Yeah, so?
Now look at you, you misery-clad simian, barely able to tie your own laces. Your armpits are lakes. A scythe of booze precedes you. Your hair sticks to your forehead and your underwear feels uncomfortable. You're poor. Poor as balls. You can't ask this person for money. You're too...
I'm not ashamed.
But you are. Too ashamed to ask this person for money. Too scared to belittle yourself in her eyes. Oh God, the lieutenant is here too. Do not dishonor the force.
As I was saying, if there's any way I may be of assistance, please don't hesitate to ask.
Thank you, that's all for now. Okay, let's go through the door. Hey, we got some spare change.
Give me a moment.
Elderly woman leaning against a broom, her knuckles white as bone. She seems to be having difficulty
The cold
breathing.
never does any good for my bronchitis.
Sneezes and
This
dirty
woman's
handkerchief.
health is failing her. There's not much to do. Not in this damp.
I'm fine. Fine. Don't you worry about me.
You're still worried. It's very worrying.
Now, what do you want from me, policeman? Oh, you'll find plenty of Martins here. Don't you worry.
Who smiles a gap-toothed smile while she hears you mention the name.
Pea-brain. Someone played a trick on you. Martinez is a name for anyone who comes from Martinez, like Jim Jamrock or Raoul Ravachol.
Oops. You really didn't get the joke there.
I thought it was obvious. Anyway, officer, we don't have the witness's name.
Who are you?
I'm no one. Just an old woman who cleans these hallways.
You live here.
If you can call it living. I have a little room upstairs right next to the coal room. It's barely bigger than a closet. But I don't complain, no. I have my bed and my aching bones to keep me company. And that's all I need from this world.
And all she gets, too. The coastal wind beats down hard on the coal room door outside. Splashes of waves make the balcony slippery.
How about a young male in his mid-20s, dark hair, skinny build, a smoker on the balcony, know where he lives?
Yes. I know who you mean. The scrawny boy who's always smoking like the devil, right?
Somewhere in the building, a child starts crying. You hear a radio tuned to a talk show and someone taking a shower.
What's he in trouble for?
No trouble, just wanted to talk to him. Do you know where he lives?
Talk? He lives upstairs in room 28. Go to the balcony. It's one of those doors there.
Thank you. We should go check out his apartment on the balcony. See if he's home.
Ask away, policeman.
What can you tell me about Cindy?
The artiste? Nothing I can do about her, I'm afraid. She ruins the walls faster than I can clean them. Still, she leaves an old lady to her business. More than I can say for others.
She mumbles some kind of a response.
Vito says firing squad for the rich. Foreclosed by Martinez Realty Associates. Sea below looks cold and winter
A
gray.
shift in temperature. The air chills around you. Dust settles on the stony floor. A former architect stands before a slice of window. a room plan in her hand. A cold wave has made the air in the building stand still and frozen, with temperatures falling down to minus 20 degrees Celsius. It's clean and empty, with new tapestry embellishing the walls. A standard HB graphite pencil has fallen off a three-legged stool in the middle of the room. Is red from the cold. She's breathing on her fingers, clasping the plan. Traces of sadness are visible in her expression. Faint pencil lines on paper depict the same place, but a missing eastern wall connects the room with the neighboring apartment. Ideas for arranging the furniture have been jotted down.
Okay, what do we got? Egg. Egg. Talk to you.
Ooh, the piggies have learned how to saunter up staircases. I didn't think you could do that with hooves. But here you are.
That's right, we've
Yeah,
evolved.
I can see that. Cool mutation.
That smell coming from her paint bucket. It's not paint, it's heavy fuel oil.
Red-dyed heavy fuel oil, intended for exclusive use in government vehicles, to be precise.
What did you think I was using? Aquarels? Sucked it out of a cop's fuel tank myself. Back in Jamrock.
She really did it. She's proud of it too.
You ain't seen nothing yet, Piggy Boo.
Piggy Boo. Do you know anything about the recent murders?
I ain't no snitch, Pigstein. Go forth and forage in someone else's shit. No shortage of squealers in these parts.
Actually, there is a shortage of people who talk to us in a normal, calm, informative manner.
We weren't put on this earth to make your life pleasant, fucko.
Someone's been sleeping here recently. Enough coal to last for several winters. Smells of chemicals. What if I try using a pry bar? Reaction speed. Good. I'll put those on.
The pockets of these new jeans are perfect for sticking your hand into. Makes you look cool, calm, and collected. As your hand enters the pocket, your fingers brush against something, soft, yet crinkly.
Pick the item up.
It's a chewing gum wrapper. It reminds you of the fruity juice of apricots. You should inspect it closer if you have time. Something about the not familiar in a good way, you might say.
Okay. Interact.
There it is again. The scent of apricots with a touch of cinnamon. Smells like the end of some distant summer. The surface of another planet or some ancient temple. Yes, from the height of antiquity. A long, long time ago. Millennia ago. On an island of time you can never return to.
End of summer?
The sun sets into the sea, but the water does not boil. Instead, it turns to liquid gold. For a moment, the world's store of precious metals seems to increase dramatically, and you are rich.
Yay.
There is a movement next to you, the shuffle of a small coat, warm like the evening. But when you turn toward it, there's nothing there.
Come
Why
back.
are you talking to a gum wrapper?
Take a deep breath.
Bitter, citrus, sweet. It seems to grow stronger, like a glow, with every breath you take. Until a blossom of skin and flower petals erupts behind your closed eyes. Made of toffee, cream, and distance. You just had to take a dive. Your heart working overtime, trying to keep up with the panicked synapses firing all over your brain, moving liters of blood through you, panicking. Feels so familiar.
Put the wrapper away. Very good girl. Alright, I was gonna see if I could do the pry bar thing. There we go. Sweet. Okay, so let's equip the baggie again. Above, tarps flap in the wind, forgotten hammers and nails rust. Door's locked, you can't get in. Now, I disagree. I think I'll be able to get in. Okay, maybe if not pry bar. Okay, what about you? Can I get in with you? No? Fuck. Okay, clip the bag. Okay, what about you? Carbonate mailbox is overflowing. Take. Door 9 is locked. Boogie Street 46.
You hear someone walking around inside, rearranging the walking stops abruptly, but no, you can feel tension on the other side. A poor communard, from the looks of it. The room is barely bigger than a closet.
Do I have to open the door?
You hear her clacking and feels again as the other side walks right up to the door, her tone now getting defensive
Do you
edge.
have a warrant? I'm not obligated to open the door.
Let's go. We don't have a reason to get in.
I want to see if she has anything. I want to take her stuff.
This door has been closed with a padlock. A chalk-drawn number on the board says, number 11. No reply. No reply. No reply. No reply. No reply. It's a solid lump of metal, but the shackle is deeply corroded. A solid pair of chains. Better whip out those cutters. You won't get very far otherwise.
Full knotted hand. Okay, let's go ahead and leave. Equip that.
This door has been closed with a padlock. The chalk drawn up. The shackle snaps like a twig, and the lock falls to the floor with a little...
After you, detective.
I was drawn 5-pointed star on the wall. Okay, let's go in. Flamboyant poster of a white star, real with lithography. Photos of revolutionaries posing with guns. Books of critical theory on the monstrosities of capital and such. Okay, let's equip my bag. Because I want to take everything. Lounge jacket. Okay. Revolutionaries love to pose with their guns. Okay, so I have that. Clothes. Jacket. Maybe there's something in the pockets.
A plaster cast bust depicts a middle-aged man with impressive sideburns. The name on the plinth reads Kraz Marzov.
Why does this tenant have a bust?
The white star, the photos on the wall. I think we have broken into the apartment of a young communard. How fitting.
Kim, who is this?
He's known as the father of scientific communism, also known as Masovianism. His theories about economic history greatly influenced, some would even say sparked, the anti-centennial revolution.
Box filled with cleaning chemicals, smells of laundry detergent. Oh, cake. I don't have glasses yet, so let's put on the glasses. Should notices and missing pets are plastered on top of each other. Old rack boots, sneakers, and old slippers. Oh, for a second I thought that was my dog. Loud rumbling snoring comes from within. Snoring is scary somehow. You should leave. I'm no chicken. Showers and curtains are covered in some sort of slime. I'm surprised my partner has no problems with me just walking in and just randomly taking shit from literally anywhere. Balcony. Breaker box, full cigarette butts, and electric wires. Let's see about the exit first. Now I can go back in. Good. Just the door, nothing for you here right now. But there could be something behind the door. Someone's growing rosemary, thyme, and a cactus, but do you have the time to grow it?
This door is made of metal and appears to be reinforced. Someone here really values their security. Number 28. This is where the cleaning lady said the smoker on the balcony lives.
Let's see if anyone's home.
No one answers.
Looks like the young man we are looking for isn't home. I think our best chance to catch him is in the evening.
It is evening.
We should return tomorrow after we have finished with our day's work. How about 9 p.m.? Sound good? Tomorrow, 9 p.m., right here. Apartment number 28.
Damn. Turns out it's quite tricky finding someone in a big apartment building. Remember, tomorrow. He's probably gone for today. No one answers.
We should return tomorrow.
Complete silence, whoever lives here is at home. Voices from within singing along to some buoyant dance track. Okay, what if I use my pry bar? Can I use my pry bar? Yay. Okay. What about you? Can I use that? Nope. Okay, fine. You hush. Hey. Can I use a crowbar? Oh. Can I get a skill point?
Just an ordinary wall. Nothing to see here. Yeah. Why? It's a wall. An ordinary wall.
Okay, so I need conceptualization.
Why must we stop to look?
Because I had ideas. What if I try using...
A heavy door with a missing handle stands before you, covered in dozens, if not hundreds, of little oddly shaped trinkets and charms. It appears to be locked.
Yay. I was successful.
You smash into the wood and see a small crack appear on the doorframe. It's going to take one more try to break through to the other side. But you've done it.
Why don't I just reach through and unlock the door?
Again, are you?
Hash into the short door and shout, "Fuck, it hurts."
Bent metal, broken glass. Your path lies strewn with the broken forms of everyday objects. You are the destroyer, the bane of inanimate matter.
No, I'm just as disempowered individual trying to take my disempowerment out on everyday objects. Gaze upon me, stuff and despair.
What is this place?
Like a gym to me.
But no one's been here in ages. I doubt the electricity still works. Good thing we have a flashlight on us. Don't forget to take it out of your...
An eerie feeling rises in your chest.
What if there's a reason why no one's been here for ages?
Because it's closed. No need to look for supernatural explanations where a banal one will do.
Okay, flashlight. Sand is dripping from a punch bag. If nobody's been here in ages, you figure the punch bag would have already been done dripping in sand. Oh, I could give that to the guys.
A barbell lies on the floor. The color has worn off its weight plate. It's 60 kilograms. Your triceps hum at the sight of these weights. Show the world, why does it feel so familiar?
Familiar because I'm a weightlifter?
No, it's not that. It's the stale smell of rubber, the squeaky sound of sneakers, your bruised knee against the mat, and a whistle. Then the feeling is gone. It's just a memory from another life, when you were young and fit.
Let's... Physical instruments. Yep, put it on that. Frederick. Worn out wall bars, they look unsafe. I should totally touch them. Let's see if I can do this.
The barbell waits patiently on the floor, like a dog for its master.
Of course I did.
You manage to hoist it off the ground, but the barbell feels wobbly and dangerous. Your hands slick with sweat. Turns out you're no beast, just an old man with bad form. Even your body has failed you. It's a miracle you didn't injure yourself.
I think I did injure myself.
Weightlifting was never my favorite either. At the station gym, I mean. I prefer running. It clears your head.
Okay. Do left hand? Oh, I can. Okay, cool. So let's put you in the left hand. I forgot I have two hands that I can do stuff with.
You broke down the back door, the wards, the door. It's all gone now. Dark psychic energy leeching onto my shop. I suppose it's all over now. I guess there's no escape. Just a door? This place is cursed, Detective. They don't call it the doomed commercial area for nothing. Just look at the sheer amount of companies that have failed in this house. I hope you're happy now. Happy that you've ruined everything. Now that of course you didn't. You're nothing but a policeman. All right. You know what? I'm willing to let you investigate the doomed commercial area. We are set on the path. But before we go on, tell me, did you encounter the malignant entity? Yes, the malignant entity that lives inside the chimney. It takes the shape of a woman, a witch probably. I've suspected that she knows more about the curse than she lets on ever since I first saw her. Yes, that chimney is part of the building's central furnace, and it's enormous. She has barricaded herself behind some metal security curtains. God knows what she's doing there. Some unnatural magic, I assume. You should go find the entity and ask what happened to all the companies in the building. And do return to me after you've talked to it. I'm quite anxious to know what she has to say about the curse. Okay, but please, only a few questions. You wouldn't want to disturb the spirits. The curse is so much worse than you could imagine. It's a disease, eating at the very foundation. It's the curse of financial distress, of ruin and bankruptcy.
Didn't that curtain just move?
Everyone knows that all the previous companies in this building have sooner or later declared bankruptcy, and their malicious spirits are still here, feeding off bad business practices and disappointing income statements. There's something wrong with this building, I can tell you. Ever since I arrived, I've sensed an eerie lingering presence, as if I was unwanted here.
Sounds familiar.
Truly so? Perhaps the dark energies are leeching off you. You shouldn't stay in the store too long. It may be dangerous.
When you just tell me right away that it's a curse.
It's not good to talk about the curse, not in detail. The negativism, it's dangerous. Talking about the void wraiths angers them.
Such wraiths may prove a formidable enemy. Suit up.
Yes, I've contacted numerous parapsychologists, and even a pair of Simonese mediators. They provided me with the wards. The wards help to keep the doom at bay and protect us against the darkness that lies further in the building, even though now I fear it's not enough. Oh, this? No, it's a special Himian amulet, blessed by desert pygmy shamans, with a spell of compulsion. It's to compel people to buy books. There are numerous spells cast throughout the store. I had the books anointed with a different inducement spell, for example. It's guaranteed to boost sales 15%. Yes, the Simonese are very crafty, and their wards are extremely powerful. Lesser wards simply won't do here.
The woman before you scans the store, her shoulders rigid and... These shelves are overburdened with books from the same series. Crime fiction is a disgrace. These books greatly overstate the excitement of police work, glossing over how long it takes to actually follow up on leads and eliminate dead ends. Furthermore, they have no idea how hard it is to simply remove a body from a tree. What's more, they completely ignore the psychological hardships of year after year coming into contact with people during the worst days of their lives. Not a single mention of all the stress this work creates upon the officer's family. Detective fiction just doesn't tell the truth at all. Now, would you like a list of all the books found on the shelf?
Perfect.
You see Dick Mullen on the job. Get Me Mullen. The Stalwart Adventures of Richard P. Mullen. Dick Mullen and the Murder in the Orchard. The Sordid Affair of Dick Mullen.
Dick.
A killing is declared. Dick Mullen in the Murder House. The Final Case of Dick Mullen. An Obvious Lie. Dick Mullen in the Clock Tower. The Ordeals of Dick Mullen. Dauntless Dick. Dick Mullen's Funeral Pyre. The Murder of Dick Mullen. Oh no, turns out he faked it to solve a case. Yes, there's also The Dame Who Did It. Farewell, My Mullen. Faking death seems to be a common trope in the Mullen series. The Morbid Tales of Dick Mullen. A dark tide turns. Tragedy calls for Dick Mullen. Another one with fake death. And, of course, Dick Mullen, the murderer. In order to catch a murderer, Dick Mullen must become the murderer. After all this, you still haven't found the answer to the one question that matters. Who is Dick Mullen?
Oh, crime, robberies, murders, even sexual crimes. We're fortunate to have Dick Mullen and his stories to sort all that out. You're a police officer, apparently. You should buy all of these. They really do teach a person how to be a proper detective.
Sex crimes did pique your interest, but still, this Dick Mullen person only gets your pleasure centers down. Your attempt to grasp at the answer fails.
Damn.
It seems very close by, pulsating just out of reach.
I can... reaction speed... Oh wait, no. That was +1 to reaction speed, never mind. It was rhetoric. Okay, so take you off. I should probably put on pants. Put on pants. Authority, electrochemistry, passion. Okay, can I do it again?
Shelves filled to the brim with crime novels featuring...
Damn. I was hoping that would work. Leave. Put on the other pants.
The plaque on the shelf reads, Biographies of Famous People. You see a large variety of names, none of which ring a bell.
I would say... The Greatest Innocence. Yes, most certainly. It's an important educational tool, delving into the depths of history, religion, and their relation to innocentic power.
What is innocence?
A very influential historical figure. But surely I don't have to tell you that. You're a law officer, and law officers have at least some education.
I do not.
The book is also very daring. The author aims to re-examine the universal understandings of the innocentic system, creating a fresh vantage point and a shift in the tired order of things.
Do you recommend
Certainly, it's prudent for a person to have at least an elementary understanding of history and society. Imagine
I don't.
the chaos we'd be in otherwise.
I don't. Look how well I turned out.
You feel like you should get this one. Definitely. It's important somehow. There's something personal inside.
A true cultural touchstone.
Browsing through all the books with all their names makes your head spin. None of these seem... Suddenly, a particularly odd title catches your eye. It reads, High Speed Love, the tragic true love story of Jacob Irv and Alfie Delatraz, by one Cecilia Averbrook. High Speed Love chronicles the romance between two of the finest tip-top tourney racers in history. One of them is the madcap driver, Jacob Irv. His blonde mane graces the cover. Next to Irv's life story, you see a slim biography of an Occidental rock star called the Anti-Star. He's famous for shooting morphine into one of his eyeballs and cocaine into the other.
Okay, that's painful just even remotely trying to think about that. The idea, the conceptualization of eye tattoos just... That's cringe.
Next to that, Revacholian radio personality Guillaume Bevy stands in front of a rundown drug den. He's a permanent fixture on Channel 8, reporting on real-life crime and ruining cops' days.
I really must insist you buy one of the books. Reading them is not for free. Do still browse though, but not too long.
She understands she has erred against the customer and immediately corrects course.
I'm sorry, I did not mean to rush you. You are browsing. Go ahead. Take your time. Time is commerce.
What's that? Another boring book just discarded here. Okay, what about you?
This bookstore is not strictly about crime, romance, and biographies of famous people. There's also a wide range of paranatural literature.
Sir, please, no browsing in that shelf. That wisdom is not for free. I can't have you end up, like, opening a police store next door and stealing my customers. Oh no!
Amidst the various books, you find one written by someone named Matthias W. Dundas. It's about wholeness, unity, balance. The point of the book, and many others on this shelf, is to give people medicinal advice in situations where they don't have access to paid health services.
How's that work?
It serves platitudes, while also telling everyone that traditional medicine the kind people don't have access to, and which costs more than this book, is garbage, and would only give you cancer anyway, without even curing your cold or anything.
Oh, like essential oils.
Wholeness, unity, balance, on the other hand, can basically take care of anything. Though it is important to note, when it's up to your mind to heal yourself, then it's because of your mind that you're ill in the first place. It's your own fault if you're ill. Got it? The book features chapters on topics such as how to find magnesium. It even lists plants you can harvest magnesium from. How to continue drinking if you're an alcoholic who has destroyed his liver. And there's even a chapter on the ancient Seraïs tradition of using duck gallbladder preservatives to treat and prevent sexually transmitted diseases. Pre and post factum apply. Nothing worth buying.
Now hold on. Let's get back to this alcohol thing.
This is just mundane garbage. What's even paranatural about this? The throbbing in your head increases with every passing moment you gaze at this shelf. Suddenly, as if out of nowhere, a small green book becomes apparent. The title of it reads, Medicinal Purposes of the Pale.
What's the pale?
The book contains very little explanation on the matter. This knowledge seems to be taken for granted.
What's this book about?
The book contains descriptions of various pseudoscientific therapies, alternative medicines, and folk remedies involving the pale, also known as le territoire. For example, it recommends vigorously swatting one's naked body with a venik or hand broom, made from the leafy twigs of a young birch tree from the near pale. Even better if you can find someone else, preferably a large man dressed in nothing but a towel, to thrash you while you're spread naked and helpless on a cool slab.
Sounds like where a lot of sacrificial rituals start and end.
It is supposedly invigorating and good for the circulation.
I don't believe you.
It also recommends consuming distilled spirits like vodka or whiskey that have been aged in the pale. Readers are instructed to cover these jars in a shallow hole just inside the pale and leave them there for 30 to 60 days, depending on the potency desired.
And what does this do?
Among other benefits, it is alleged to restore a damaged liver to perfect health.
I don't believe it.
For general health and well-being, readers are encouraged to take regular strolls through the pale, though a sidebar cautions readers to limit each stroll to less than an hour. These strolls promise to cleanse the mind of worries and the body of toxins, especially if the perambulator performs this ritual in the nude. Nudity figures prominently in a number of these prescriptions. This is exactly what you need. I don't know. I don't want to be the party pooper, but this pale territory sounds sort of dangerous. Maybe you shouldn't walk in it naked. There's an entire section devoted to cures for men who are struggling to perform their marital obligations.
I certainly don't need
Close
that.
the book and return it to its place on the shelf.
Indeed. Something about that book does seem to have spoken to you. Well, I hope it contains what...
Several maps have been attached to a bulletin board hidden inside the alcove. They're held up by small pins. The board has come loose from one corner. The maps look old and faded. Your eye catches a map of Insulinda, a map of Revachol, and a map of Martinez. This large map displays archipelagos. You see a constellation of small dots on the light blue emptiness of the Insulindic Ocean. The largest in the northeast is La Caillou. You are here. Another, far away in the southwest, Seminese Islands, Ozon, Laurentide, Fas a la Mer, Archipelagos, North Arcade Islands, all just specks of dust on the vastness of the Insulindic. On the edges of the map, the color fades. In the northeast, a dust mite stands on the north coast of Caillou in a bookstore. It's radiating outwards from you, the suzerain Revachol. With a radius of 80 kilometers, still, the crown jewel of this Isola would be barely visible.
Can you see the cities on the
You
islands?
can, on Caillou, Revachol, a single black star, on Ozon, Fondelier, and Vilmandu, on archipelagos, Croyan Moran, Villiers, on Semenine, Olduvai, and on Laurentide, Deora of the Seven Seas. Lost little pearls of light, tiny fires in the dark. The ocean breaks apart into a tangle of cosines and azimuths, all pointing into pale nothingness. Windy is the north azimuth. Grad is the northeast azimuth. Samara is the east azimuth. Seo is the west azimuth. Isolas, they're called. Connections to other worlds. Words past the Incelindian, unknown to you. You only know you've never been there. You have little idea what they are. Distant stars, gods, but looking at them makes you feel almost non-existent. Whatever they are, the Isolas are immeasurably large compared to you, and very, very far away. Perhaps they are gods, gods of distance and outer dust. The north coast of a verdant island is shattered by the delta of a river. It is the River Esperance. Countless bridges put the shards back together, connecting city blocks to river islands. La Delta says a great artificial heart in the center, teeming with life forms and construction. To the east, rolling hillsides, Le Jardin, Stella Marie, the suburbs of Saint-Baptiste, swallowed up into the megacity. They sound rich to you. This is Revachol East.
And west of the river?
Hudon. It's somewhere to live. Not bad. Then there's Jamrock. It's bad. People shouldn't live there, but they do. Then Forberg. It's almost as bad, and much larger. Then Coal City. It's the worst.
And
It's so small you can't even see it on the map. No, wait. There it is. North of Jamrock, the strip of coast next to the Greater Revachol Industrial Harbour. It looks downright despondent. It's almost Coal City, to be honest. No, Coal City is worse. A charred limb. Rain falls on its slick black streets. And then there's the burnt-out quarter in the heart of Jamrock. Is it cold in this bookstore? Or is it just you? No, this is somewhere to be. This is all you have. But it's still something. Streets and sodium lights, the sky, the world. You're still alive.
Map of Martinez.
It's not really a map. It's a tourist thing. A picture postcard with buildings on it, drawn from an isometric perspective. A date in the upper right corner says 48. Still, it's detailed.
I'm sorry, officer. The map of Martinez is the only one available. The other two are not for sale anymore. They're quite valuable, though they might not look it. The map of Martinez is 90 cents, though. Yes, yes. Are you interested or not? Always good to be informed of your surroundings. I'm sorry, officer. The map of Martinez, they're quite valuable, though they might not look it. The map of Martinez is 90 cents, though. That old thing? It's an out-of-date map of a tourist location that never was nor came to be. From when some design studio people tried to spruce the place up 4 or 5 years ago. They also renovated the horse statue, set up those coin-operated viewers, and designed the new street lamps. They didn't get that far, for some reason. A shame the project never got going. Would be nice if someone fixed Martin.
Shelves filled to the brim with crime novels featuring the supposedly
Okay, what about you?
A small mountain of colorful board game boxes. There are numerous types of games for all ages. A lot of shelf space seems to be taken up by Wirral-related merchandise.
Wonderful board games, sir. The Viticulturist is a classic for sure, or perhaps you'd like Archipelagos of Insulinda, a very educational game for those interested in geography. Browbritter is a fun game of economic competition, but can get quite intense after a while. We have games for the whole family. You can play with your children.
Britter almost sounds like Monopoly.
Who are you going to play board games with? Do you have friends or family? Are you actually friends, or just colleagues thrown together by circumstance?
Friends are technically like family. For playing with friends, I'd recommend Suzerainty. It's a civilization building game where you build a civilization, then set off to brutally colonize and repress other civilizations. It'll cost 12 real.
Sounds like risk.
Lousy auras there. No, role-playing games are popular among those types. You know, who are into those kind of things. Personally, I don't like it. Not at all. I've heard they turn people into occult enthusiasts. That they have rituals where they try to summon entities. Highly
one of these
immoral
people.
stuff. You can still buy them though.
I bet you would be one of those people back when D&D started in the 70s that complained it was some kind of demonic cult shit.
An endless variety of sourcebooks, lore books, and codices litter the table. The topmost book is titled Welkin Compendium. Second, there's also a large hardbound tome with intricate cover art, The Hunters of Katawak, Boreal Creature Compendium, and a Pick Your Path adventure game book titled Tales of Wirral, Cavern of Velkrag.
I kind of like choose your own adventure books. I kind of cheated at it. Sometimes I get bored and just read the book as it was not intended, you know, page after page, like a proper book. It didn't make much sense.
There's a box that says Wirral, 3rd edition Mega Setting Supplements Module. The side panel notes, a fantastique adventure board game, new maps and miniatures. A sticker on it displays nonsense for anemic Beano-clads. The display rack is brimming with worn paperbacks featuring an extremely muscular, sword-wielding barbarian on the cover. Nearly all the titles contain the word Heimdall somewhere.
Oh, Man from Heimdall. A very popular series of adventure novels. They're awfully immoral and violent books. Blood and violence, scantily clad women, epic narratives, all those mystical things he encounters. They're bound to grab those with little imagination and nothing to do. What does it matter? They're all the same. However, the customer is always right, they say. If you're a novice of the series, I'd recommend Heimdallaman, the man from Heimdall. It's supposed to be a good introduction to the series.
Rows and rows of Heimdallamen blur your vision. You make out some titles. Man from Heimdall and the Mammoth Riders. Man from Heimdall, Return to Heimdall. And the solipsistic Man from Heimdall and the Heimdall Man. Maybe 100. Man from Heimdall and the Sages at the End of the World. Man from Heimdall and the False God. Man from Heimdall and the Scorched Earth. Man from Heimdall, the Heimdall Colonies. Man from Heimdall and the Swamp Beast. Man from Heimdall and the Snow Crabs.
I don't want to catch snow crabs.
Those snow crabs are worse than they sound. Not even close. Man from Heimdall in Hell. Man from Heimdall and the Forest of Slaves. Man from Heimdall under the lake. Man from Heimdall, Heimdall burning. There's even the Trial of Death. a pastoral combat game book set in the world of Yondalaman, and so much more. A twinge at the back of your head makes you flinch. Your eye starts twitching. Your hand reaches toward a book with glossy cover art of the very muscular man from Heimdall in chains, kneeling in front of a staircase leading to a throne. A woman sits on the throne, leering at the man. She's laughing at him, belittling him. Between the throne and the Heimdall man lies a bonfire, casting shadows on the wall. The shadow of the woman's headdress looks like a pair of devil horns. The title reads, Man from Heimdall and the Devil Woman.
Mama said all women were the devil. Then again, Mama said anything's pretty much the devil if you look at it the right way.
Especially those leering types who seem to wear nothing but an armored bikini. There's also some sort of a snake lizard beast slithering around her abdomen, chest, shoulder region.
Kinky.
The display rack before you is burdened under piles of Man from Heimdall novels.
I believe I don't have money. Items: shot put ball, postcard, interact.
The Greatest Innocence by João Paulo Salomão Lopes de Fuego. The book is large and heavy. Browsing through the various chapters, you try your best to understand the ceaseless overflow, the sprawl of names, dates, places, events historical. Most of it ends up as a twisted mass of facts inside your brain.
As it should be.
You can do it. It'll be worth it. There's something here. Your educational survey is done. Did you catch any of that? No. Oh well, it's pop quiz time. Let's see what you've learned. This might take a few minutes. That's the spirit. Here we go. Question 1. Who was the first innocence? Dolores Day. Incorrect. Dolores Day was the innocence of humanism, internationalism, and the welfare state. She codified parliamentary democracy and created modern institutions. Among these, the moral intern. She was powerful and beautiful on all her icons. Her colors are silver, white, and apricot. And when you think her name, Dolores, stomach acid rises to the back of your throat, and it hurts. You see a flash silver, a wreath, an airport bag, and blonde hair. You don't know why. Another choice, perhaps? Steer clear of this one. There's something terrible about this one.
What?
A strange sensation of loss. When she left the earth, the dust, and the ice, and the humans. That is unimportant to the quiz. Stop thinking about this. Yes, the quiz is impersonal. No need to rouse sensations in yourself at the mention of Dolores Day. Who was the first innocence? It wasn't Dolores Day.
Sola?
Incorrect. Sola was anointed during the previous century and even lived to see the current one. She was an urban planner who spoke her mind and largely left history to its own devices, encouraging people to excel on their own rather than prescribing to a deified model of history. She is often called an anti-innocence. Sola resigned after an assassination attempt by a Yugo nationalist who blamed her for not taking the side of the left during the turn-of-the-century revolutions. Innocences don't usually resign. Care to try again?
Okay.
Correct. Nothing much is known about him. It's not even clear that he was a he, but Franco Negro presumed as such and called him Pius. He's depicted as a young man with molten gold pouring out of his mouth. All he spoke was gold. It's said he invented God and equality of men before God. He also introduced the gold standard as a way for measuring people's love for Aurum. As the first innocence, he declared that there should be more of those like him. It is presumed his disciples were the beginning of the Holy Party, the founding party. Question 2. Who was the strongest innocence? Dolores.
Okay, I have a feeling you're going to tell me that's wrong, so we're just going to go with you.
Correct. Named the innocence of militarism, he codified hereditary rule, but at the same time ended serfdom and established the inter-isolari real as the global reserve currency. He also established the concept of the nation.
Okay.
Franco Negro attempted to solve the rising tensions between the aristocracy and bourgeoisie by building a unified society in which every man has a place and a mission, but at the same time may rise to nobility provided on the strength of his virtue. Question 3. Who was the false innocence? Okay, it wasn't Dolores Day. She's not false.
Actually, didn't it say earlier she was the false innocence? Or
no, stop thinking it. I said it wasn't her. She was true.
Okay, Steph is...
Incorrect. Stepan the Despicable, regent of Kedra, was a ruler who conquered the known world during the Kedriatic conquest, instead of the despotic Erno Pasternak. Would you try again?
Kedra?
Incorrect. Kedra is a large nation in the mid-northern area of the Mawindi Isola, north of the Occident, between the Ilmarin mountain range and the Pacentic Mare Interregnum. Care to try again? Correct. There have been a number of counter or false innocences, some assumed to have innocentic qualities, some who just thought so themselves. Occasionally, they have the support of a faction inside the ecclesiastic organization, and accusations of foul play have arisen. The most famous and important of these was Erno Pasternak. He was into torture, despotism, hymns, cannons, and world conquest, but got defeated and humiliated by Stepan the Despicable of Kedra. Final stretch. You've come so far and learned so much. This is the most important one. Question 4. Who was the greatest innocence? The most important of them all. The most precious to humankind. Correct. The Mesk might see Franco Negro as the father of nations, but as of this century, there's been a great shift in attitude. Dolores Day has become widely regarded as the greatest innocence, a most radical change to the whole fabric of the world. Everything from inter-isolary travel to the connected world to 3 consecutive scientific revolutions can be traced back to her. Every decade that passes, she seems less human somehow, and more beautiful. And more beautiful, and more beautiful. Congratulations on finishing the test. The results are D. Not particularly remarkable, but technically a passing grade. Not you would have done better if you just left Dolores Day for the end. Dial the Dolores Day down a bit.
What's going on with you?
The book is unfair.
Okay. You are shouting at an inanimate object, like a real weirdo. No wonder you seem to have trouble with the right answers. Browsing through the book again, you still have trouble understanding the torrent of information. Only you can do it. It'll be worth. Your educational survey is done. Did you catch any of that? No. It seems rather unfair to try again after you already know the answers. But sure, if Dolores Day...
Parkinson's.
Correct. Nothing as the first innocence. Question 2. Dolores.
No, it wasn't Dolores Day.
Correct. Franco Negro. Question 3. Okay, it wasn't Dolores Day. She's not false. Correct. The most final stretch. You've correct everything and more beautiful. Congratulations on finish an A. All correct. Impressive. Oddly so. You really navigated some treacherous waters here. Well done. The lieutenant is doing his best to ignore your behavior. Yeah, sure. It's so much easier once you know the answers, right?
Exactly. Okay.
Medicinal purposes of the pearl. The cover of this heavy, flipping through the book, you find a number of sections on the general benefits of the pearl. A large pharmacopoeia makes up nearly half of the book. You come across the following explanation. While modern pharmacopoeia are continually updated by so-called experts based on the results of clinical trials, readers will find assembled here the timeless wisdom relied upon by generations of traditional Seolite medicine practitioners, Mesk mystics, and Ilmaran folk doctors. Finally, something to calm the angry spirits that have been plaguing you. It seems to contain descriptions of the medicinal properties of various ingredients that may be gathered from the pearl, as well as instructions for producing a variety of herbal remedies. There are a number of Seolite tonics that promise to improve your short-term memory, but nothing that speaks to your condition. There's nothing in here that speaks to hangovers directly. However, while browsing through the various descriptions, you become convinced that you could assemble something from the ingredients listed here. First, you need to choose a base ingredient. Next, you'll need to combine the base ingredient with an appropriate vehicle.
I don't think you should consume aloe.
Lastly, is there anything else you'd like to add? The ginger root will help with the nausea, and the birch bark tea will help you flush out the toxins. The ginseng should give you more energy as a nice bonus. From the pearl, of course, or perhaps from some enterprising entrepreneur, where you would find one of those, though. The book does not say. Very well. First, choose a base ingredient. Next, you'll need to combine the base ingredient with an appropriate vehicle. Lastly, is there anything else you'd like to add? You've created a delicious tincture of whiskey and ginger. According to the pharmacopoeia, it should increase your energy and focus, though, in your experience, it's only done the opposite. If only you could find one of these right now and drink the shit out of it. Would you like to try again? You close the book and find yourself staring at the familiar cover once more. The 15th Indo tribe. Because there was. The 15th Indo tribe was comprised of 8 kids from Forberg and North Jamrock, running from wild dogs in the valley, hiding scents under rocks, and stealing clothes off clotheslines, and sometimes even the copper wiring of phone lines. You may have been one of them. This must be a childhood memory. The 15th Indo tribe was your Indo tribe, set to rule in Celinda. The rest of the kids are dead now. Car accidents and drug overdoses. Only you remain.
That seems very cheery. 2 hours, 15 minutes, 5 hours. Let's do that one. Why can't I do that one? Can I do that one? Wait, what do you mean I have to unlock a new slot to research the plot? How do I unlock a slot then?
We should think about calling it a day, maybe. The nights are still miserably cold this time of year. You should take care of that, then. Let's talk to him anyway. An officer of the RCM shouldn't be sleeping in the street.
Though he finds this situation frustrating, he is doing his best to not make you feel any worse than you already.
Okay, but first, I want to look at the other book.
The worn map features the patchwork grid of the streets of Martinez, with directions to appropriately touristy locations. Yet your finger moves through the various streets, across Rue de Saint-Ghislain, and finally coming to a halt on the spot where you are currently standing. Although the map gives no such...
For a more detailed view of the map, go to your journal and select the Map tab.
Okay. Alright, let's head out. Maybe a sea monster did this to the plaza? Yeah, it seems reasonable to me. Almost looks like Face of Scorpion, or Sub-Zero. It's all about the money, you know?
The worker is in a deep...
Can I help you? Thanks. I hope you found what you were looking for. How strange. I certainly didn't put them there. The trash collection service? CS Municipal. I don't see why they would put anything in the trash, though.
Ah, the elusive CS Municipal. I doubt we'll be able to track down who was sent here last and when. This will have to be one of those little threats that solves itself down the road.
On Clinton Street, near the Boogie Street Diamond, a small truck rattles down an alleyway. It stops by a rusted trash container. Two men, their faces rough and swollen, jump out. They look at the container despondently. CSM is written on their backs.
Thank you anyway.
Sylvie had the keys before I got here, and I can vouch for her. I can vouch for all my staff. None of us would tamper with the crime scene. I think fugue states are more your forte, officer. Yes? Yes, have you got it? Does that arrangement include you paying me what we already agreed you owe me?
I understand your predicament as the manager. However, I feel I must remind you that we are here to conduct an important investigation that also affects your business.
Forgive me for saying this, but your colleague seems more committed to drinking, and...
He shrinks back a bit under the lieutenant's severe gaze.
I mean no offense. It's really nothing personal. I just have to protect the interests of this establishment. Not until you bring me the money.
Okay. I might have something in my motor carriage we can use when you're done here.
I really didn't want to resort to this. The man is thinking.
Oh, Lieutenant, we're done here.
I am Hobo Man.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and...
I have something here we could sell. Look in the back, in the suspect transport enclosure.
Transport enclosure? Regular people just call it the cage. The cage at the back of the motor carriage looks rather uncomfortable. 4 shiny hubcaps are stacked against the seat.
I confiscated these 4 a little while back. We can take them to the pawn shop down by the Martinez Canal.
The lieutenant nods as you take the spinners.
All right. Ready? I turn, you press start. It's next to the preheater.
He's downplaying his excitement. The lieutenant is more than happy to show off his prep. The dashboard lights up with orange glow. The rounds per minute gauge jumps, and the engine of the Caprice Canela comes to life with a whiny growl. The lights unfold with a little click, casting electrical light onto the ground before the vehicle.
There you go. I'll turn them off from the remote once you're done. We just need to stand in front of the machine now. This is the Caprice Kinema, my motor carriage. You can use the toolbox and the radio if you'd like.
Motor carriage, motor carriage. Something bad with a motor carriage. A dark lump rises in your throat. Nothing. It's probably nothing.
No, I'm afraid not. We have a murder case on our hands. A motorized vehicle, officer. I'm sure you are familiar with the concept. We've had these for nearly a century. The Caprice Motorcar does provide most of our patrol vehicles, yes.
In the cabin, you see a set of... As you hold your ledger's clip under the headlamp, an iridescent hologram appears. A street grid and the veins of a great river. A familiar sensation washes over you.
There she is. Revachol West.
Around the borders of the watermark are dozens, no, hundreds of micro-perforations. There are many of them, and they are divided into 3 separate rows. The first row has 18 dots. The next is the longest. It runs all the way around the border, and then some. There are so many, it's hard to count. More than 150, at least. Maybe even 200. The last row has 3 perforations. That's it. The rectangular watermark is overlaid with the logo of the RCM, and yet the major arteries of Revachol are all recognizable. They shimmer in the Kinema's headlights. You catch a faint glimmer from a broken beer bottle in the distance. Sounds. 2 men engaged in a drunken argument. In the middle of a broken plaza, illuminated in a cone of light, 2 men, one slim, the other sturdy. They are on the city stage, but only one of them knows his lines.
Ah, Martinez at night. Let me see. Right here. Oh yes. Coal City. Le Royaume. The burnt-out quarter.
All of them worse than here.
Those are perforations. They represent your record as an officer of the RCM. They are your statistics, as it were. I should have guessed you'd keep a record. Officers often do. Let's take a look.
Son, here is where we score your life performance. You better hope it's good.
The first row represents your years of service. 18 years. Okay, not bad at all. What did you do before you volunteered?
Land telling whores and liars of the end to come. There are 9,855 days remaining. Probably some boring office jobs, same as everyone else. I feel like I went around and apologizing all the time.
Maybe you were a diplomat, or in PR. Doesn't matter, I suppose. Let this next row, the one that wraps all the way around, is your number of closed cases. Closed is good. It means finished. You've got, wow, more than 200. It's quite a lot, even for someone who's been on the force for nearly 2 decades. Usually, clearing more than 10 cases a year puts you in the 90th percentile of all RCM officers. Call it what you want. You are a valuable member of your precinct. Now, let's look at the last row. Right. Those are your confirmed kills. You've got precisely 3 perforations there.
Confirmed kills. That sounds pretty evil. A drink would soften that feeling.
For an RCM officer, especially Precinct 41, which is in the Jamrock Quarter, it's rather tame. I mean that in a good way.
Okay.
There are certain officers who treat their kills like some kind of ghoulish game. If they do happen to solve a case, it's usually by accident.
Obviously, the Lieutenant doesn't think highly of these
But
officers.
it seems as though you are, or at least were, one of the good ones. So we have that to be thankful.
He's sincerely glad you're not a scary predator. Not to say relieved you're competent.
Yes.
It's not a problem for him to state it, however.
Everyone has their own method of coping. Some more effective, or self-destructive. Personally, I find it helps to keep up a few hobbies. Why not gardening? You've already got the yellow gloves.
It's meant in earnest. Please don't mistake it for a joke. The lieutenant nods.
Right. I'll go turn off the lights.
You can now see your statistics on your journal page.
Oh, what's that? Being on the roof, slush and rain has almost washed them off. Okay, I guess I gotta go around the other way. I gotta head to the pawn shop. That should be over here. Out of my way. I think it was down here. No, this was a dead end. I forgot how to get to the pawn shop. Maybe it was up here? I know I've seen it before. Nope, it wasn't over here. Shit. Maybe it was this way. Stop between those 2 trucks down there, smokes. Go get them. Maybe it was this way.
The woman still has her.
No. I guess tomorrow I gotta... Actually, tomorrow I'm not streaming because it's Monday. Anyway, I gotta call it, so let's go ahead and call it here. Next time I play, which will probably be towards the end of the week next week, I will try to figure out where the damn pawn shop is. Then say about sleeping for the night.
This is the loudest.
Today, though, let's go ahead and raid somebody. Let's take this on. Oh, we got John Froome. I haven't raided him in a while. He's doing not Alien Isolation. I have no idea what this is, but we'll go ahead and raid him. Maybe he's doing Alien Isolation and this is just a party game every once in a while. I hope you all have a great day. Thank you for joining in. For those interested, links to YouTube, Discord, TikTok are there. Hopefully I will see you on Tuesday with more not Alien Isolation, I almost said Alien Isolation. Alien Colonial Marines. So, actually no, Tuesday I'm going to be doing Forewarned. Wednesday, Alien Colonial Marines. Thursday I'll probably do that as well. Then Friday I will go back to Disco Elysium. So look forward to that, and hopefully I will see you all Tuesday.